All right, guys, what's going on? So with that being said, we're at Patchwork 2. I was gonna make these for Patchwork 1, but we're gonna get a little more kind of like not necessarily technical, but kind of technical for this one. So we're making some black pants for Patchwork 2, and I don't actually like the way that they fit. So I'm gonna like, you know, not tailor, alter it a little bit, and make it a little wider on the inside. So we're gonna see, you're gonna know how to and find how to do that. It's really early in the morning, forgive me, but let's keep on going. Right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the steps that we're going to be taking. So first, as you guys know, we're gonna now design, prep, then decon, cut, pin. That's gonna be the difference, right? We're actually gonna start pinning the patches to the garment. Sew, cut, because we are going to be doing undercuts for these black pants, and then recon, and as you know, always admire, right? And what we need, because I'm going to make this for Patchwork 2, as we're making this for Patchwork 2, we're going to be measuring and also to pinning, right? So sewing machine thread, pins, base pants, patches, fabric, needles, measuring tape, and ruler, and you need patience. that's that's like, I should have put patience twice. Like, you need to put patience up here, and you need to put patience down here for number 1 and number 9. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and start designing what the pants are going to look like on paper, and after that we're going to start cutting and getting into it. Let's go. All right, perfect. So with that being said, as you guys hopefully can see really well, this is me just attempting to draw while designing. So these are the front of the pants, and then this is going to be the back of the pants. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me probably just turn the brightness down just a little bit so you guys could probably see a little bit better. So with that, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be adding a layer of fabric in the middle of the pants, all the way from hem to hem, right? And it's gonna add a panel and a seam, which is going to make the pants fit a lot better. I know this because we made some pants on live the other day, and they fit absolutely amazing. And I was like thinking to myself, like, I want to make these pants, but I do want to add this slit. And I was like, you know what, forget it, we'll just add it into our community. So you guys can now know how to, like, open up some pants if they're too tight. All right, so we're gonna see how much fabric we're left with this. This is actually, the inside patch is actually just going to be 1.5 inches of like us opening it up, and that's going to be like the half for like that seam allowance, right? And then with whatever we have left, we're probably going to just do a nice square in the front, a long rectangle in the front, and a long rectangle, both symmetrical. And then depending on how much we have, as I say, we're gonna do a long one in the back. Very, 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 very simple. Kind of in congruence to our rectangle white hoodie that we made for Patchwork 1. And that's basically all that we're doing. So with that being said, let's now go ahead and start cutting, because we now design. I've already prepped So basically now we're going to be doing decon. So let's do it. So usually we will seam rip the bottom hem, but actually these are too long and they have cool zippers right here, which are cool. Again, cool zippers. But for me, we're going to be doing that inside inseam, you know, added patch, so we don't need it. So we're just going to cut it right here, and this is now going to be the new hem. So we're not only opening these up a little bit, but we're shortening them as well. So I have the two pants folded, or the two pant leg folded, and I'm cutting both of them at the same time. And then now, as we have it, we're probably just going to use this for like a patchwork jean jacket that we make, and use these for the sleeves. So we'll save these. And then now what we're going to do is that you would usually say like, okay, like now let's seam rip this middle, and we can, but I'm just gonna cut it. I'm just gonna cut it. So I'm gonna cut it right at the seam, and this is going to be for the inseam, right? I'm cutting it right at the seam so it can have the same. If I start cutting inside the pants, that's what's going to change the way that they fit. You know, that's another thing with inside keeping functionality when you're making pants or you're patchworking absolutely anything. You just can't necessarily, unfortunately, just can't do what you want. Right? They have a natural fit to them. Measurements, math is all into making clothes, functional clothes. So we want to be able to stick with that and make sure that we're not altering anything so we don't have to fix it whilst sewing. Because I don't want these to fit weird. You don't want these to fit weird. Nobody wants this to fit weird. So that's that. All right, cool. So now that we've cut this, this is top stitched in the inseam. So I'm gonna flip this. Excuse me. I'm gonna flip the actual seam part, hold it, and I'm gonna cut it right close. Oop, another thing that I forgot that you guys are going to need is an iron. Hopefully you guys all have that in your house. It can be any iron. It doesn't need to be a sewing iron. You don't have to spend $100 on an iron. I got mine at a flea market. As long as it has heat and as long as you know, you have the ability to use some moisture, then you're all good. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Before we start investing in crazy equipment, let's get down the basics, and let's make sure that some people know that we are making clothes and are willing to buy, to invest in the equipment that we purchase. So I'm just cutting out that middle. All right, perfect. So that's all cut up. We can go ahead and throw that in the trash. All right, cool. So now let's go ahead and keep going. All right. So now on these other pants, what we need to do is we need to measure how long of a patch we need to make. And we can measure that basically with this front, right? So what I'm gonna do is that I usually just measure one leg because it's the same for the other leg. And I measure right here, right? Hopefully you guys can see. So I'm gonna measure the inseam length to see what length I need to cut for that long extended patch that we're going to use to open up these pants just a little bit. So that's 27. So 27 times 2. Wow, 27 times 2. I do not have, oh, I have this. I don't want to be good at math. I want the calculator to be good at math. So 27 times 2. So that's going to be 54 inches. So we need to make it a 54-inch patch. A long 54-inch patch to be able to add into here, which is going to be around 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inches wide, just to add just a wee bit of opening. My brain is completely fogging out. So right now we're using some pants that I made for my old brand, right? So I can potentially cut this at the seam, which I will. Already have some seam allowance. So we're deconstructing my old jeans. Ooh, no bueno. All right, cool. So we open those up just a little bit. And this is the inseam, mind you guys. And we're definitely trying to be as careful as we possibly can because this is definitely fragile. All right, cool. So you guys probably see like this crazy stuff in the inside the pants. And I did a whole bunch of embroidery on these pants this same year that I started, actually the same summer, same 3 months that I started making clothes. It's one of my first pants that I ever made, actually. And they felt so weird to wear with all these patches. I mean, all these embroidery in this thread. So I put some fabric inside, so I don't have to fear all that weird stuff. So this is definitely nostalgic, ripping these up, repurposing these as patches. It's gonna bring these regular black pants that we have to life. I definitely hemmed these so well because they're so hard to seam rip. All right, cool. And then what we're gonna do is that we are going to iron this out. So it can be nice and flat. I'm just taking off the embroidery on the bottom hem of my initials. Yeah, I definitely recommend, if we're taking apart intricate stuff, definitely recommend a blade, not a seam ripper, because you need something sharp. Most definitely. All right, so with that being said, guys, we're just gonna come back after these are completely seam ripped. Let's go. All right, guys, perfect. So we just iron them. We iron the bottom hem so it can lay flat. And now we're just going to be making the our 27-inch patches to be able to do that middle patch, right? Let's go ahead and see if we can try to give ourselves some more. Ooh, I love a blade. You just have to love a blade. All right, cool. So let's see how long this is. And we're at 29 inches right here, so this is absolutely perfect. Just put this right back around our neck. I don't feel as though that I've ever used a machine. So as you guys can see, this is my ruler. I'm just going to do, this is like, I don't know if this is an inch, but it might be an inch. Yeah, it's kind of like a faux inch. So it's going to be inch and a 3/4. So it's going to be right here. That's how thick, that's how wide our patch is going to be. Not going to be anything too crazy. Actually, we're just going to go 2 inches. Now looking at it, it needs to just be a little bit more thick. So what I'm going to use is a rotary cutter. Oh, you guys can't see. But I'm going to use a rotary cutter. Two inches. And I'm just applying a lot of pressure so I myself won't be moved. Or the almost 2 inches. All right, cool. All right, let's move this bad boy up. Keeping this in line. And then we're just going to so there's a pocket attached. So we're gonna undo the pocket. Or seam rip it rather. All right. Throw that in the trash. So now basically what we now need to do, so let's measure where we are in this patch alone. We're at 29 inches. So in regards to what we need, this is minus 29 inches. So we need a 25-inch patch, right? And let's consider seam allowance. So you said a 25-inch patch. So let's go 25 3/4 of a patch. Or of a length. Perfect. So this is gonna look pretty cool, I'm pretty sure. It's gonna have like an embroidered inside. And then we're just gonna go all the way up. And then we'll just edit from there. All right, cool. So this needs to be 25 inches. And we're at 28 or some odd. So let's say here. So if we're here, we now need to cut just like this right here. All right, cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna find where our other patch is. Perfect. And now what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna sew them together. All right. Let's go ahead and go over here at the sewing machine. This is just going to be for our patch, right? We're not. Let's go here to our sewing machine. This is going to be for our patch. This is not going to be for us like actually sewing. So don't freak out. We're not skipping a step. Right? Okay, let's go. Let's thread the machine first because that's important. Right? You guys are gonna see my little prep here, which is not that much. I feel like the more expensive the machine is, I might be wrong. This might be just something that I'm saying. It is early in the morning, so, but I feel like the more expensive the sewing machine is, the less the prep. The less you have to prep. Okay, cool. So let's do this 10. I think this is 3/4 of an inch. No, this is almost 1/4 of an inch. All right, cool. So then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put my seam, I'm gonna fold it to the side like that. So it's folded to the side. Hopefully you guys can see. And then we're gonna sew right on top of the seam, top stitch. Just to make this a little bit stronger, and then we're gonna do a double right on top. So it looks like this. Does that make sense? Cool. So now this is sewn together. We have our middle patch. Now we can worry about the actual patches that are in like the front or what have you, right? Cool. So let's go over there. So we have our middle piece, and now we're gonna do our squares, right? So honestly, I would love to pin. I'm probably gonna pin like very, very minimal. But what I'm gonna do is that we're going to use these out seams. Where is my, and we're gonna do a ruler length for the patch all the way down to the end here, and we're just going to cut straight up. So I would love, honestly, to do always what I think when it comes to like designing on paper, but usually it always comes out a little bit different than, you know, me designing on paper to then be in my head, or like, yeah, in my head while I'm like creating. So this is the one that goes straight up the leg. That's gonna be in the middle. And then we'll make another one the same length. Let's go ahead and just put that right on it, right? So we can know what length to make it. And then we're gonna use this other patch as a guide. And we're gonna just cut cool. And then cut straight along. So now we have our two patches that are going straight up the back. Not anything too crazy, not anything too long. And then with this crazy idea, I'm literally just going to do this. I'm going to cut this like so. Let's do this. Getting down and dirty with these pants. We are moving. So let's go down, straight down to the middle. And basically what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna halvesies this, lay it down flat, And then cut this straight along here. And make sure that this is more or less the same. Perfect. All right, now we have this one huge long patch. I'm going to cut it down the middle. I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna press this down on the middle with the iron so I can then open it up and just cut it straight up the middle. All right, this is gonna be crude. So like we halfsy did, but it's not that perfect. Oh, it's gonna be so great once we finish this. This module is crazy. So actually, these two front patches, these are gonna be the fronts. And then this long patch is going to be in the back. Okay? All right, cool. So now we're gonna start pinning. I don't want to pin, so I don't have time to pin, but we're gonna start pinning. So these are the two front ones. So undercuts, mind you, reminder, these needs to be done as again. That's no problem. This needs to be straight. You need to keep on moving. You need to keep on grinding. Pins. All right, cool. So we're just gonna be moving. I'm not gonna be pinning too much. Very minimal pins. I just want these to be kept in place. That's it. When I started using pins, I didn't have to use that many because I spent a lot of time not using any pins. Okay, so that's in the front. And then we need our other front piece. Right in the middle. Right, and then we're going to pin, we're going to pin, we're going to pin again, pin once more. All right, cool. So we have our front patch pinned. This is for our middle, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So, and then these are the back patches. Ooh, wow. Right close to the butt. This is perfect. This is so perfect. All right, cool. and tuck this puppy in. Patching like not patching, we're pinning like crazy. We're moving as fast as we possibly can. All right, pinned, so that back patch is pinned, and then we need to pin the other back patch. Flip these. It's a wee bit tall, isn't it? Just needs to be cut just a wee bit. All right, let's pin these. This one I'm generally just pinning all the way up the middle. All right, cool, we're all pinned, and let's go ahead and start sewing. Let's start sewing, right? Okay. Moving and grooving and moving and grooving and moving and grooving and moving and grooving. All right, let's switch this. Pivot, right? Pivot this again. Where are we at in time? 57. We have to... All right. Try to make this under an hour. But here we are again. Yeah, I could definitely feel with us doing this patchwork and stuff, like I could definitely feel the fact that we're getting better at our lines. I just feel so confident. So confident. I feel so confident patching this. So confident. All right. Let's go. And let's just do this while we're down here. We ripped up the hem. So that outseam needed a little love. Whew. So remember guys, you guys still do your secure line. Like, do 2 sew lines. This one. seems like no pins were on this. Are pins on this? Yeah, pins are on this. I'm like confused. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Holy, when your sewing machine goes over a whole big thick patch, you like you hesitate hesitate like crazy. All right, cool. So that's the first two, and now let's do the other two. We're moving 601. We're gonna get it done though. Sewing this fast and moving this fast reminds me of when you're preparing for a fashion show. It's some stuff. All right. See, we're just I love this sewing machine to the death of me, swear to God. All right. So we do one more. Perfect. moving, grooving. Taking these pins out as we go, of course. All right, cool. So we're moving. Right. After this, we're gonna have our inseam patch to do. No double pockets on this. So this is basically us being all done, and then make sure you have all the pins out so you don't stab yourself. That's one thing. All right, cool. So the way that we're doing this, is that for our patch, is that it's basically like we're creating a seam, right? So what we're gonna do is that it's going to be, we're gonna do the front first. This is like, well, I'll make a better tutorial for this, but we're gonna be doing the front. And then we're going to be putting that, we're gonna put the seams together like front facing front, like we're doing a patch. Yeah. Like so. And then we sew it together. All the way up, all the way along, down, right? 5 a.m. All right. So with this, you could probably pin it, but we don't. I will make an in-depth tutorial in this patchwork one, but we're gonna go 1/10 of an inch in our seam allowance. EST, yeah. And this is like, I know that this measurement is absolutely probably perfect. Probably gonna have to use a hammer for this one. But we're just sewing this long strip on the inseam because we're gonna just add. It's like we're sewing the pants back up again, but we have a strip that we're sewing onto it. We're almost perfect. We like missed like a little bit. It's good to be over than under, yeah? All right, now what I'm gonna do is that you would usually do this with an iron, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna top stitch it real quick. Top stitch that seam. And you can go on like a longer length on this one, the top stitch. We're going fairly slow. I'm about to say we don't need to go that slow. Moving. So the reason why I'm like kind of like I'm opening them apart is because I didn't iron it. If you iron this, you wouldn't have to do this. All right, we're going over a big old thing. I'm actually just gonna hammer this down. So for the seam, oh man. For the seam, this big old seam knot, or what have you, I just hammer it down so it's not so much to sew over. Just a wee bit. Perfect. So since that's hammered down, we can keep on going. We're at 612. Oh man. I'm just gonna go over it with my hand. I just don't trust it. Don't want my needle to break right now either. Don't have time for my needle to break. All right. Just gonna keep on going here. We're just top stitching right now. All right, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna do like, we're top stitching again, but it's going to be right next to it. And we can go faster with this. Much faster with this. Let's go. I'm so scared. So this is basically like recon. This is basically like recon. Perfect. So you guys can see that this is now a part of the whole entire inseam. And then we're gonna flip it on its head. And then now sew the other part together. All this message. All right, cool. And what we would be doing is like we would be serging this and all that fun stuff, but we don't have a serger machine right now. And I'm guessing you guys probably don't have a serger machine right now. So we're not gonna serge. All this is just practice. Practice, 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 practice. And then what we're gonna have to do is that we're gonna have to press this, because we're gonna have to press this seam because it's gonna look whack. Going very slow, very nice, very chill. We're almost done. All we have to do is just cut. So the steps were kind of out of order just because of time. And that's why this is... This is more advanced. You guys see how we're gonna press this, right? So first we're gonna press the seam flat. Dude, actually on the side. We're pressing the seam flat, just the way that we sewed it. This sets in the seam, and then we're gonna press it open. Gotta give this side some love. Yep. And then we just gotta cut this just a wee bit. Alright, so now that that's pressed open, we're going to, or pressed flat, we're gonna open up the seam, right? We just want a flat seam, right? That's the difference between professional garments and like somebody that knows how to make clothes. Actually, when I say actually, it's like you're not just sewing something together. There's a difference between making clothes for fun and making clothes for profit. How about that? That's what I can say. That's like the major difference between this. It's like making clothes for fun and then making clothes for profit. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm now trying to sew the middle of the pants. Can't really get into it the way that I want it to. So I'm putting it at the edge of the when you have a big flat felt seam, that big old seam in the middle of the pants, like you have to add so much moisture and then hold that there, so because like it has such big DNA, so much tension, that you need to be able to really and truly like change those fibers. So you need to moisture it down. You need to, it's just like, you guys, like, you know, when your t-shirt is wet and you put your like your fingers through it and like you stretch it out, and it usually stays there. That's what I'm talking about. All right, that's what I'm talking about. When you wet the fiber of the fabric, and then you apply some heat, it changes. Even if you put it in the wash. All right, cool. All right. So let's start cutting. So we're gonna flip this right side out, and you guys can see that how good this looks, right? That inseam has that square patch, that's long square patch, and it has some embroidery in it. So like it's just gonna absolutely look good when you're like walking, and you're just, that's why I was like, okay, I can't, for this piece alone, I can't not make this. And this is the piece that we set for our patchwork piece, and this is what we are doing. So we're just now cutting. This is like literally the final touch. Oh no, it seems like we did it backwards. But who cares, right? This is gonna translate. So I'm just making these pants for myself. A lot of these patchwork pants are gonna be, everything that we make that is patchwork is gonna be a lot for ourselves, or at least for myself. Just for promotional pieces, so when I'm walking around the town, I have something to talk about, right? the more high quality pieces are gonna be put up to sale. Yeah, we definitely did this backwards. I think. I think. Or, you know what? I underestimated how short these pants actually are. And this is going to translate a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So the main thing as to why these are not, like, this is simple work, right? Two rectangle patches from front and back. And then like an inseam added patch. But the patches that we're using have embroidery. And they have white and red. And the red is so nice embroidery that it just makes everything pop. Front patches. Yeah, we did this right. It's just going to look better than I thought. That's basically it. We're at, seems though we need 1 hour and 30 minutes per piece that we make, especially if we're recording. But with you guys making so much clothes, you guys are then going to starting to know like how long it actually takes for you to create a piece, which is so crucial when you guys are trying to scale. Because you'll find out how many pieces you can make in a day and what's your most like ideal type of like working environment to be able to sew faster. Like I know myself, like when I'm not recording and I'm just making clothes, like that's my ideal. So like when we're scaling or we're preparing for the 2025 collection, right? We're gonna be making modules and videos and a whole bunch of more stuff, but it's going to be more or less of you guys seeing the production, right? Which I'm so excited to open up the door for when that time comes. Because we'll let you guys in a little secret for whenever you guys are watching this. I know we're going to revamp these classes in 2025. But in 2025, we're actually going to be making all the stuff that we release is all going to be garments made from scratch, which is so exciting. And all of this patchwork stuff here is literally for practice. And that I get to wear myself, because yippee. All done. Now let's go admire. All right, so this is our piece. Probably have to throw this on. Hopefully you guys can see them. I don't even know. Well, literally, I don't. Yeah, like I'm gonna add some like better looking ways of the way that it look, because I don't know what's better in terms of like lighting. And yeah, so this is it. So recap. We just made patchwork 2s, right? So we designed, prepped, decon, cut, pinned, sewed, cut, recon, and then we admired. We needed a sewing machine, thread, pins, base pants, patches, fabric, needles, measuring tape / ruler, and then we needed some patience. Also too, we needed a heat press. So with that being said, guys, much love, and we'll see you in the next one.